What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the Ragin Nation Show. This is just a web series where we're talking about all things that matter to me in the world of upcoming films. In this episode, we're going to talk about what Sony Pictures Entertainment has to offer us, because this morning they released their entire release schedule for their films that come out from 2016 all the way to 2019, and it's a pretty promising list of films. Now, this is a pretty extensive list, and I'm not going to mention every single film that is coming out in the next 4 years, but I will mention the ones that have my interest. Now, first of all, this is an official list, okay? This is what they have projected for the next couple of years, but it also can be considered tentative because there are some factors beyond their control that might prevent these films from being released, but for the most part, it is quite official, all right? So let's just start off from July 15, 2016, and that's when the female reboot of Ghostbusters is going to come out. I know there's a lot of hate about it, but it is a Ghostbusters film. It's directed by Paul Feig, who's a pretty solid comedic director. And you know what? I want to watch it. And the reason why I'm mentioning Ghostbusters in here is because originally it was scheduled to be released on July 22nd. Well, it looks like they moved it 1 week earlier, all right? Moving on to September 23rd, 2016, we have the Magnificent Seven remake directed by Antoine Fuqua. Now, I'm really interested in this mainly because it has a very, very solid cast. I mean, we have Chris Pratt, Matt Bomer, Denzel Washington, Vincent D'Onofrio, and also Ethan Hawke, as well as Cam Gigandet, as well as Peter Sarsgaard. All right, so this is a pretty solid list of actors. This is who makes up the Magnificent Seven, and once again, directed by a very solid action director, Antoine Fuqua, who's one of the very rare breed of directors who still consistently directs R-rated action films. All right, moving on, we have Underworld 5, the 5th installment in the Underworld franchise, which comes out on October 21st of 2016. And the Underworld franchise is kind of like the Resident Evil franchise, in my opinion. I find that they are decent action films. They're very entertaining. They don't have a whole lot of depth to them. I don't think they're great films, but they are at least enough to keep me interested in a genre that I really enjoy. So Underworld 5, I'm down for it. All right, moving on to December 21st, 2016, we have Passengers. Not a sequel, not a reboot, not a remake. This is based off an original script, but what's very interesting about this film is that it stars these two superstars, Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. They're in a science fiction movie. They are going from one planet to another planet, and it takes a couple of years to get there. They're in cryosleep. One of them wakes up by accident, and then he feels really lonely. He wakes up the other one. He wakes up the other character, who is played by Jennifer Lawrence, and then Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, they go through outer space, okay? Very interesting premise, okay? Moving on to 2017 now. We have Resident Evil, the final chapter, which is released on January of 27th. Originally, they had it scheduled for September of 2016. Well, that's not happening anymore based on their production schedule. They believe that it is in their best interest to release Resident Evil, the final chapter, in 2017. And now this is where it gets exciting. Bad Boys 3. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are back, and now we have a release date for Bad Boys 3, and that is February 17th of 2017. That is actually happening. Now, the last time we heard anything about Bad Boys 3 was the rumor that Joe Carnahan was going to be directing. Will Smith's schedule is going to free up after he's done with Suicide Squad, and then if he starts working on Bad Boys 3 right away, then it's gonna happen. The hardest part about making Bad Boys, a third Bad Boys film, was when the hell is Will Smith's schedule gonna free up? Well, finally he has that free, an opening after Suicide Squad. Martin Lawrence, he's not doing anything, so they're just waiting for it to happen. And finally, we have a release date, and that's February 17, 2017, which means that they got to start working on it right after Suicide Squad is done their promotional rounds, okay? So Bad Boys 3, it's actually happening. Moving on, we have Uncharted, based off of the video game, and this will be coming out on June 30th of 2017. Now, originally, it was going to have a 2016 release date with no specific release date in that year, But you know what? Not a whole lot is going on with the production, so therefore they decided that we should move it to 2017 in summer. All right. And then finally after that, now get this. This is insane. This is just came out of left field. Bad Boys 4. Bad Boys 4 has been announced to be on this release date, on this release schedule, and that is for July 3rd, 2019. Big Willie Weekend. If you don't already know, Big Willie Weekend is when Will Smith has always released his big films. Usually it's a film about saving the world. From, what is it, Independence Day to the Men in Black films to the Wild Wild West, which was a terrible film, but still. It was a film that was released on the Independence Day weekend. It was starring Will Smith, and therefore, Big Willie Weekend got its name, and looks like Big Willie Weekend is coming back with Bad Boys 4. Now, that means that when Will Smith signs on the dotted line to be a part of Bad Boys 3, he signs a multi-picture deal to be on for another go-around, which means he's going to sign up for Bad Boys 3 and Bad Boys 4 for Sony Pictures Entertainment. It doesn't mean that they're going to make Bad Boys 3 and 4 back-to-back, but at least once he's done working on Bad Boys 3, he's going to work on some other films, and then he's got to get on working on Bad Boys 4 so they can be released for 2019. So, Bad Boys 3 and 4 is actually happening. Now, there's no solid word on whether Joe Carnahan is actually going to direct, but if he is going to be directing it, I am down. Joe Carnahan is a very solid action director. He did a great job with Smokin' Aces, and I would love to see his brand of humor and action into the Bad Boys franchise. So that is what's going on. This is quite breaking news to know that there's going to be a fourth Bad Boys film. Hopefully Bad Boys 3 does well, and I'm pretty sure it will for an R-rated action film. I mean, you got Will Smith in it, and it's a film that made him a star, so it's a franchise that made him a star, so you know what, if Michael Bay's not back to direct, then so be it. Then at least we're still getting a Bad Boys film, and not just one, but also another one in 2019. So there you have it. Bad Boys 3 and 4 is happening. Now, as for other films on that list that I didn't mention, there is a Spider-Man film, which is a collaboration with Marvel Studios coming out on July 28th, 2017. There is the sequel to The Equalizer, also directed by Antoine Fuqua, which will be out on September 29th, 2017, and also there's an animated Spider-Man film, which will be from Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, the Lego Movie guys, and also responsible for the 21 Jump Street sequel, coming out on July 20th, 2018. But that's it for that's it for now. That's what Sony Pictures Entertainment has scheduled for us for the next 4 years, and the highlight of that entire list is, of course, the Bad Boys sequels, which is actually going to happen unless an act of God prevents it from happening. So there you have it. That's all I got to say in this video. I'm excited. Are you excited? Express your excitement on the comment section below. And what do you want to see in the next Bad Boys sequels? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation. My name is Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. And Prometheus 2. Hopefully it'll be a conclusion to this series. And I say that because if it doesn't conclude, then we're going to have to wait another 5 years.